to the fifth episode. The fourth really wasn't that much of an episode. I'll get into that in a moment. But welcome to the fifth episode of the Nightly Draw Live. I am... Who am I? There I am. I am John Lotshaw, cartoonist here in Atlanta, Georgia. And welcome. If this is your first time watching this, welcome. Yeah, I need to apologize for last night. I was recording last night as usual because the internet connection is not working properly yet. Although I do have news about that. I'll get to that in just a moment. Problem is that I got into kind of a hacking, coughing fit. And so I basically did this, and I turned off the microphone. What I didn't do is what I just did, which was turn it back on. So I recorded an hour of me inking a page, no audio. I mean, that works great for Charlie Chaplin. I'm not Charlie Chaplin, okay? Never claimed to be, never aspired to be, never would presume to be. So, yeah, it was an hour of me just and drawing without explanation. So basically, I just put up a little mea culpa, and that was it. Very disappointing because I actually I thought I did a very nice job with the inking. I was really pleased with the inking. Did I leave it here? No, I took it over to be scanned. I did a very nice job with the inking, and I was really happy with the way it came out. And I have no show for it. I do have something to show for it. I just have no show for it. Anyway, you can tell I'm ad-libbing. I'm babbling right now. But anyway, so we are recording audio. I do see the little audio meter blinking, so that's good. All right. Well, again, thank you for watching. Thank you to all the folks who have responded to my Facebook plea for YouTube subscribers, and I hope that this becomes a part of your daily ritual. It's going to get a lot better, I promise, because the internet connection is being fixed. Apparently, there was more damage on Memorial Day when I took a lightning hit. There was more damage than we initially thought. Oh, wow, I've got printer ink all over my thumb. I just noticed that. Live TV, folks. Yeah, there was more damage. I called Comcast this morning, and they took a look at the modem, and they were seeing that the signal levels weren't right. So what was happening was every time I was setting up streaming and going to connect to YouTube, it would cause the modem, the cable modem, to completely reset itself. It would literally reboot. Everything would go down. The Ethernet hardwired network, both the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz Ethernet went away. Everything just poof disappeared, and the system rebooted. And this happened every time that I would click on the button in Mimo Live to connect to YouTube and start streaming. So there definitely was a problem there, and they found out, like they said, that the signal level wasn't right coming back from the modem, which is a big red flag, apparently. Is a bad thing. And so they actually were, I rant and rave about Comcast, and a lot of the times it's deserved. But, I'll give credit where credit is due and give props where they deserve it. They were going to get somebody out here this evening. But unfortunately, that time slot got taken between the time that he asked for it and the time that he tried to activate it. So they're actually going to have somebody out here Saturday. So within 24 hours of calling and getting a trouble report in, they're going to have a technician out here who they said he's not going to leave until it's working. And this problem has happened before. There was a lightning strike a few years ago. And it took out it had basically the same kind of problem. So I figured that's what it was. And when they did, they actually upgraded everything to DOCSIS 3, and it was it was a nice little upgrade that they did. So the plan is now, assuming that everything goes the way that I've been told that it will, Monday I'll actually be able to be live. So be looking for a YouTube announcement for the live streaming. I'm going to do a test over the weekend. Once I get it up and running, I'll do a little stealth test. So if you happen to be around, I'll announce when I'm going to try and do a stealth test. But feel free to please come back on Monday, especially, and we'll do this thing live, and I can get questions, and hopefully you can get answers, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, all right. So now we go into the part of the show where I have to shamelessly promote myself. As you know, I have got several ways in which you can support Accidental Centaurs and support me in producing Accidental Centaurs. The main one is, well, actually, yeah, this is it. This is Patreon. Patreon is a monthly pledge that you make, and that's how you see new strips for Accidental Centaurs. When they go up, they go to Patreon first, and they stay there, exclusive to patrons, until the story is complete. And that's just the way that it's going to be done from now on. So right now, I've put 2 pages for 7 Centauri. Page 3 will be up sometime this weekend. Excuse me, got a little runny nose there. But $5 a month is where it starts out, and there's benefits. I have premiums available. You can go and see the full list at that URL, www.patreon.com/accidentalcentaurs. There's all kinds of stuff. There's buttons. There's original art. There's for higher levels. There's even appearances in the strip. There's all kinds of goodies. So please consider helping me out and helping the strip out by going over and becoming a patron and continuing the adventures of Alex, Sam, and Lenny. Another way that you can help support, and this one doesn't cost you anything, is to like Accidental Centaurs on Facebook. Facebook.com/Accidental Centaurs. That's where the announcements for these live draws will be. This is where the announcements for other videos, for announcements for appearances, which I'm going to get to in a moment, announcements about new books, things like that. All that will go first here. Also goes to Twitter, and I need to make a page for Twitter, but it's and I'll have that for Monday. But the information is duplicated between the two. But Facebook.com/Accidental Centaurs. Speaking of books, I do have collections of books, and I don't know why it's not showing. There it is. All right. Because it's out of order. Yes, the stories for Accidental Centaurs are collected into full color collections, and they are available through Lulu.com. And year 1 has the first 3 stories. Accidents Happen, Accidental Unicorn, and Pointing Hooves. You'd think I'd know this by heart by now. But the books, like I said, they are a little pricey, but they are gorgeous. They are full color on very nice paper. They look beautiful. I think they're worth $40. But they are kind of pricey because print on demand color is very, very expensive. But I really didn't want to do this in black and white. It really the colors on this just really pop, and it's really nice. There is a second book, which is volume 2, and this is Dictating the Course, this is a 100-page graphic novel. And and as you can see there, it's got a foreword by the one and only Bill Holbrook, the hardest working man in comics. And you can get both of those books at lulu.com/JPL1. There are also download versions. They're PDFs, and those are available at the same place. Those are less pricey because we don't have to ship out slabs of dead trees. So go and check those out. If you are so inclined, I also have the Naughty Bits, which is the adult material. There are 3 of those collections. The Naughty Bits, more Naughty Bits, and Attack of the Naughty Bits. And those are available at a separate URL on Lulu, which is lulu.com/naughtybits. This is, as I said, this is adults only, so it's not for not safe for work. Definitely not safe for work. And what am I doing here? Oh yes. Let me turn these. There we go. Dragon Con. Yay, Dragon Con. I am going to be at Dragon Con this year. Dragon Con, as I've said before, September 1st through 4th this year here in Atlanta. The comics area, I think, will probably be back over in America's Mart Building 3. I have not heard anything definite on that, but that's where they were trying to make this the permanent home. It's a very nice venue. I really enjoyed being over there. I didn't feel like I was in a dungeon or worse. And believe me, we have had worse. That's a story for another time. But I will be there next to Bill Holbrook and Tom Hyges, two very good friends of mine from here in Atlanta. Bill, of course, is the hardest working man in comics, does 3 comics a day. Kevin and Kel on the Fast Track and Safe Havens. And Tom Hyges is the Eisner-winning editor of Hogan's Alley, which is a fantastic magazine, which you have heard me expound upon here, and I will continue to do so because it is a great magazine. I really recommend it. You can subscribe to it at hoganmag.com. Go check out the website. There's a lot of great stuff at that website. But anyway, as I said, be there September 4th through... September 1st through the 4th, and that will be here in Atlanta. I hope you can come. Dragon Con is a great experience, great thing to go to. It's one of those things one of those things that in fandom you got to go see at least once in your life, kind of like Comic-Con, but without all of the people there. I mean, there's a lot of people, as you can see in that photo, and that's just scratching the surface. But it's not like Comic-Con, which is just insane, just absolutely insane. Anyway, September 1st through 4th here in Atlanta. So please, if you are going to be there, come on by, say hello, and hope you can make it. So there we go. All right. So since I used up what I was going to do last night, and you didn't get to see it, I don't have anything really to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start drawing the next page, which will be page 4 of 7 Centauri. Give me a second here. And again, pulling up the script. And so here's the page we're going to do. It's 6 panels, and it's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of dialogue. So I'm not going to go through. I'm going to draw out the whole thing, but I'll show you how I set up pages and things like that. First thing is using the flexible ruler. Let me get these pens out of the way here, because we're not going to need those tonight. I am going to need this blue just so you know, there is a pencil sharpener just off camera here, and that was the noise that you heard. Gets the pencils nice and sharp. Pencil sharpeners, pencil sharpeners they're awful nowadays. I don't know if you've noticed. Basically, most pencil sharpeners have just got a little razor blade in them and a really anemic motor, and they're just awful. And so I had an older pencil sharpener. This thing, I bought this. It's still dead, and maybe one of these days I'll just try and fix it. This has got a heavy motor. I mean, this thing weighs about 1.5 pounds, and the cutting element in it is a burr. So it's like a coffee grinder, and it's like the old pencil sharpeners that you had mounted on the wall in your school when you were growing up. assuming that you were in an age when they used pencils instead of having everything on tablets. Yes, that was a get off my lawn level joke. Anyway, so I looked long and hard to find a new, because those ones with razor blades are just horrible. They do not. They do not work very well. They have no power whatsoever because they're running off, and they're running off of a couple of D-cell batteries. So there's no torque to them. So they're just awful. And I found this one. It was kind of expensive. It was like $35 or something like this. It was made by X-Acto. So you think it had a little blade in it, but it actually has one of those grinders, and that's really the way to sharpen a pencil and do it effectively. But one of the problems is that if you push too hard on these pencils, you break the lead, but you break it up in the pencil, so you don't realize that you've broken the lead until you've ground it down a few more times, and then all of a sudden the lead falls right out in the middle of drawing something. It happens more. That's happened to me so many times, and it's my own fault for putting too much pressure on the pencil as I was pushing it in. But those old kind of pencil sharpeners, those look like a Monty Python meat grinder. Yeah, you just can't find those things anymore. All right, so I've laid out the pages, the panels, at 2/3, 1/3, 1/2, 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, which is the layout that I need according to my script. And then I'm gonna mark up here. The title of the strip. I'm going to take my glasses off. And today's date is the 8th? Yeah, 8th. 8 June 17. This is 7. Centauri. And issue 4.5, and this is page 4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is transfer, is kind of mock in the text. I don't have a lot of text on this one because it's relatively short. Put this over here, move the mouse. So this is the point where questions from the audience would be really nice, because I don't have anything to say because I'm just writing, and it would be nice to have a question or two to answer. Yeah, it goes out the edge, but that's okay because I can. This again is just temporary to give an idea of But questions that there will be a lot of. I'm really looking forward to getting questions from people and making up answers. And it's a good thing that I'm not taking my lettering, because my lettering is I've never really been good at lettering. I mean, to this kind of a level. If you were to look at my lettering, my handwriting when I was a kid, this is vastly improved. It's kind of ironic that I've got relatively neat handwriting now, because when I was a kid, I didn't. And my sister did, and now she works in healthcare, and her handwriting is almost illegible. Don't tell her I said that. It is. But it's just funny how that, and I did work to improve my handwriting, especially the block handwriting. And it was for, cartooning. That's the reason why. Is it created by who or created by whom? I always get those two mixed up. And there's no... The Weird Al song doesn't help me any. Word crimes. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I'm going to try and kind of block in this. As I was saying last night, Bill Holbrook suggested a very funny gag here. As you may have seen, if you were a patron, you would know that Sam complains about not having any water, so Lenny obliges by creating a little rainstorm that appears right over her. And it's kind of like Joe, forgive me for this, Joe, which is a character, that was his name, that was his actual name. Was a character in Little Abner, who was he was supposedly a jinx, and the way you pronounced his last name was by blowing a Bronx cheer, and so all through this first segment, for the rest of it, Sam is being drenched. So every time you see, she's going to be drenched, and I'm not going to draw the rain in here. I'm going to do that over in Photoshop on the other computer. But Bill Holbrook had an idea, suggested a very, very funny gag, and I thought about using it, but I decided not to, just because I really am not going to have the space in here to make the gag pay off. So I want to save it. This is kind of a something that Lenny will do to her, and so in the future, basically it will literally be raining cats and dogs. Which was the gag. So I draw a little cat, a little dog in here, and keep doing it. You're not gonna. It's not gonna. I really want to have some expressions on the like I did with the little animals in the other pages. Have some expressions to them and really make the gag worth the time and effort. Because it's a funny gag. I mean, with Lenny making it literally rain cats and dogs. I really want to. Oh, you know what? His thumb goes on the other side. I have done that before. And it was the big Macbeth moment where in Negative Spaces where Nega Sam looks at the blood on her hands, and then I had the hands reversed. Oh gosh. Yeah, I fixed that one and made that other one disappear. But this is very rough, Our Dead Man. Oh no, another coughing fit coming up. All right, there we go. Close up. There's Our Dead Man. I don't know if you can see that very well. All right. Well, anyway, this one's going to be more in the. Magic globes. That's an old joke. Oh boy. It goes back to the original Watch crossover. Sam and her magic globes. You know, the most fun part about writing this story in this section was just embarrassing Lenny, because he wants to be this secretive kind of character, and not really let a lot of information out about his past, although there is some out there. So by having a family member of sorts suddenly appear, it's like when you take a friend to meet your family and then your parents drag out the old photo album and start showing all the baby pictures, and you just want to find a hole to crawl into. And my philosophy is, if my characters are not miserable, I'm not doing my job. So just having Lenny to have to suddenly explain his sister while trying to figure out what she's doing here. I just love, like I said, just making my characters' lives miserable. That's kind of my guide for when I'm writing is how uncomfortable this make them, how far from their comfort centers is this going to take them, and then then take them a little bit further, because that's part of where drama comes from, is from conflict. Well, that is where drama comes from. But one of the ways that you can introduce drama is by taking characters out of their comfort zone, and especially when you're doing something that is, and I'm not saying that this is comedy, but it is slightly humorous, because again, that's who I am. But comedy is pain. It's somebody else's pain. Mel Brooks, there's a quote from Mel Brooks where he says, tragedy is when I cut my finger. Comedy is when you walk into an open sewer and die. The point is that it's funny when it happens to somebody else. I've just kind of got our bed man just kind of hanging there, so I think I'm going to kind of have her kind of lean into the shot. For some reason, this reminds me of something like that Lucy Van Pelt and Peanuts would do. Just kind of lean in and just twist the knife. But you know what? That's what siblings do. And if my sister is watching, I'm not saying that that's something that you would do. I'm just saying that's, never mind. Boy, I might have stuck my foot into it on that one. Anyway. Yeah, I know that's very rough, but I will clean that up. All of this is very rough. It's mainly just to try and transfer this to here. So what this means, the way this process works is it means that I will have drawn every page of an Accidental Centaur story 4 times. 4 times. 4 times. There will be this rough here, then the pencil rough, then the clean pencils, then the inks. And if you want to count the inking, the computer coloring as a separate drawing phase, then that's 5. So that's why it takes so long to get a page. Now, the way I draw Sam, as you can see, I'm putting in the rib cage because that's going to determine where her magic globes go. First thing I draw is the symmetry line right down the middle because so much depends on that. The symmetry of, the symmetry of everything. Everything is based off of that. Then I will go in and place the magic globes. And then do her neckline here. But that determines where that, there's got to be a name for that, that kind of ridge down the middle of the abdomen. But everything else is based on that because the characters, like human beings, have bilateral symmetry. So that kind of determines, and it allows me to build the character in 3D, and I'm already off the frame, but it allows me to help establish the character in 3D space. Hands are the most frustrating things to draw. But unfortunately, they're one of the most expressive things to draw. So much of a character's... Whoa! Get back up there. So much of a character's expression there comes through the hands. So much of their emotional state, context, who you're talking to, what you're trying to get across. The hands are very important, but they are a difficult thing to draw because of their complexity. even more so than the face, I think. I think that even more so than the face, because our brains are hardwired to recognize a human face. We see faces in places, even in places where there aren't, like an electrical outlet. Ever since I was a little kid, it looks like a little guy going, "Uh oh." So we're kind of programmed to see faces and pull shapes into faces, even when they aren't. And again, do the same thing here with Alex with the rib cage and the symmetry line down the middle. But the hands, you don't have that kind of hardwiring in your brain to automatically turn something into a hand. So hands take a little bit more in order to get them into a shape where they're expressing what you want them to express. And again, like I said, so much can be expressed through your hands, which makes it even more difficult to get right. And another thing with Alex is trying to get the right amount of musculature on him. He's supposed to, be a big muscular guy, kind of like a classical Greek centaur. Keep your powder dry and your pencil sharp. And this panel is basically hand waving something. Bring up something that I don't want to discuss, and they just kind of wave it off their hands by saying, "Oh, it's a long story," and then move on to something else. Because Okay. Hand waving just like I did just now. All right, so here we go. This is the roughed in pencils for page 4. And again, I'm not going to sit through and make you watch all of this. So I'm gonna do the final pencil here on Sam. Now, when this is inked, it'll actually look quite a bit different because I'll be in the way that you do the inks in order to get the kind of pointy stuff for the hair. It'll have a different effect from the pencils. All right. And these irises are just for reference for when I do the computer color to have an idea of where I wanted them to go. Okay. All right. I'm gonna put my glasses back on here. And okay. Oh, wow. Well, that's awfully bright. But anyway. Okay. So, you've seen me do the tight pencils, and I'll finish this up tonight or tomorrow. Anyway. Thanks for sitting through this. I appreciate it. The live draws are going to be a lot more interesting, I guarantee, because if we get people showing up and coming in for that, we are going to have a lot of fun taking questions and answering questions, and well, that's not the right one. Let's try that one. There we go. Oh, that's a little better. Again, thanks for watching. We're getting, I'm going to keep getting bugs worked out of this. Be adjusting things like the lighting. This lighting is just, I'm not really happy with it. It's it really blows the cameras out. Getting the cameras adjusted, being able to do the live stream is going to be a big help. But that's going to be, we'll work that out, and I appreciate your support and appreciate you watching. I'm going to introduce somebody to you real quick first. Jessie, come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here. You're going to like this. Come here. Come on up here. There we go. There we go. Hey. Say hi, Jessie. This is Jessie, if you hadn't seen her before. Ah, look, Jessie, you're on TV. Look, there you are. There you are. How you doing, Betty, sweetie? This is Jessie, one of my 2 Shetland sheepdogs. She needs a bath. She's normally, well, the camera's kind of yellow, but she's not normally this yellow. Normally she's very white. Hey, what you doing? You hungry? No, you've already eaten. Hey. So, this is Jessie. And she usually sits in with me. Usually sits over in the corner, in her little corner, kind of usually on her back, upside down, all sprawled out, don't you? But you'll see more of her. And you want to get down? You want to get down. You don't like being up on my lap. All right. So, Monday, live. At least that's the plan. Live here on YouTube with a working internet connection, a properly working internet connection. We'll see you then. And so until next time, keep drawing. Say bye-bye, Jessie. Bye-bye.